prepared to go home, those that are leaving to go home. And at 7, we prepare those that are in residence for them to go to bed.
But thank you for sharing that. Just I need to interrupt you a bit for our Facebook viewers and those also on YouTube. We're having some challenges with the mic, so I like to say the audio you can hear on Massive 103.5. And however, we will make sure and use the technology and then link it with the audio as well. So we're having a bit of a challenge, but you can follow us on Massive 103.5. So tune in, get your radio, and then you can also see the visuals on our Facebook and then we're notice. So I'm so sorry. But Sandra, saying that, you explained what a man is about, you explained the program, but you are a person who's been very actively involved in the community at home. You have seen, I can't say we can't talk about post-COVID because it's still COVID, but you have seen the challenges that rose also because you described your problem, but there was no possibilities, no homes, no anything, and I know it really troubled you. What has been done in the community of Aruba? Do you know what was going on, what people were doing to really get and make sure taking care of these elderly?
In the community at large, many groups were formed where, like aunts and nieces, they go into the homes to try to as in Dutch say, vang up, to sustain, to support the family. Even at the homes, when there was no possibility for persons to come and visit, we had to be creative how to get the family still to come, because don't underestimate the power of physical contact for the elderly. That whenever we go to the meetings with the government department, we were saying, listen, you all are prolonging this thing, but the elderly are dying for the lack of the love and the hugging and the caring of
Yeah.
their loved one. We can give it to them, but we don't mean the same to them as their daughter, as their son, and they want to see this person. So many homes became creative. They would put up like plastic. They would put bins with water so the
Right.
family could come and visit and put their hands in the water so you don't transmit anything. And many homes got creative. You separated the tables and everyone washing hands, spraying all day long. So like that, we try to help. And as I said already, in the families that were not able to go into care,
Mhm.
families had to develop strategies to get to the person, delivering goods for them, making sure they eat, making sure they have their vitamins, and the community came together as one. I
Wow.
said in this whole pandemic, one thing we learned was to appreciate family, and that was what was so important.
Thank you for pointing that out. I've got a ticker down, those of you on Facebook can see it. And we say stronger together when self-care becomes community care. And when I was having this conversation with Deborah, I said, we talked about this because I also had a challenges, and I want to
Yes,
share that it was very challenging for me, for the family.
yes.
And then you had to find a way, I would call up Sandra and I thought, Sandra,
I don't
what
want to
would they
do
do?
it.
And it
Yes,
was, I really want to thank you for that, but we forget that it's a 24/7
7.
care and the same, what I would say, the same questions, uncertainty you experience as a person, they are experiencing it as well,
Yes,
but they are more dependent.
yes,
So if you don't come, like you said, with family, and sometimes it's difficult because some families, I mean to say, we know it with the children when we had the different organization here, the children, they leave the key under the mat.
yes,
And here we see elderly are left alone.
yes. They're left alone. Really, really
So again, coming back, because this is really, some people might think, oh, elderly care, it's important to
important.
educate our
You need
community.
to take
And
care.
you said many times, it's not only about the academic aspect of these conversations, but it's bringing that conversation closer
Closer
to
to
you,
home.
closer
Yes,
to home, that you can think about your own experience and therefore seek help. And some people would say, well, those old homes, you send your family there and they die off within 3 months. There's
yes,
also a
yes,
stigma
Yes.
as
yes.
to,
If you could send your parents to
yeah,
the home for the elderly, but
what,
It
What would
can
you
make a
like to
difference.
say? Yeah.
It can make a difference because what the feedback we get many times, why we say we would, why we invented the daycare for the elderly, because when you've been taking care of your elderly parents so long on your own, sometimes for yourself personally, you lack patience. You get irritated for little things. There's a problem on the job, and you bring it at home, and you react on the elderly. So there's a lot of elderly abuse also going on. So sometimes people come and they confide in us and say, listen, Mita pere paciency. I don't have that patience anymore. So we say, listen, drop them off in the morning. We take care of them for you. And by the time you reach home, you don't have so much things to do that the relationship can get restored. You can begin to feel the love again that you know you have for your parent, your aunt, or your grandparent that you're taking care of. Because alone is just alone. But if you feel you have someone to help you, you will be able to carry it a lot longer, the load.
And what would you, so there's several, something you say, indeed, there's the option of daycare, so it takes away that stress, between your
Yeah.
age four. But I could imagine that people, knowing that you offer these services, they are bombarding you with intake. I mean, last night, so we're
Yeah.
messaging, and you're like, I just came from this into this intake. So
Yeah.
you can see there's also a shift in mindset that is often needed for change. There's a
Exactly.
shift in mindset, but there comes an avalanche of requests.
Exactly.
How do you guys deal with that? Because
And
you want to care for everyone, but it's
exactly.
not always possible
For
based on
everyone.
resources,
Exactly.
limited,
Exactly.
infrastructure, and all of that.
And I think too, especially what happened during the COVID, because that was not permitted. Now you have
Exactly.
all
The
those
backup.
old requests
Yes.
coming in and the new requests. So how
Yes.
are you and others in the community? Because you see a lot of elderly here home cares are popping up. But
Yes.
how do I know from what should I pay attention to? But first answer that what Deborah said, and then I would know if I'm thinking of that. What should I be aware of?
Okay. That was it. But what we have noticed with the elderly and the family is that all these requests that we're getting, in between now, they're coming requests from people with psychological problems. So now
Yeah.
you family want help, so they're not completely telling you all the background. And then when you take the person in the home and these issues start to come up, you're like, but this is not possible because there's no way for them to put a person like this. Some of the departments that have to handle these cases, they're on overload already. The persons are getting older. So also the problem with dementia and aggression that comes along with it sometimes is too much. So not
Mm.
all homes are equipped for that also, because then you give other problems to the, let's we say, the normal persons that supposed to be in a home for the elderly just for care. Because if someone in the nights gets up and walking around and doing crazy stuff around them in the bed, this is creating a problem for the home. So that's why we with the intake now we have to get more in depth and question and ask about doctor care, and is there any psychologist involved, how is this person getting their meds, are they under control and stuff like that, because we have to get more strict, because we've noticed all the kind of patients now are out there that needs help, and it need to be handled quickly
And we need to be educated
on
about it.
how to go about it.
When we were preparing, I said, Deborah, did you look at the lunch packet? What is in it? Because we all know Missouri King, they have to, there's a
Medical
problem
this and
with
that.
money. Yeah. And they keep saying, and I mean, I've been hearing this because I was in, healthcare myself, that, the care for those at home and the care for those at hospital,
Mhm.
they should kind of entangle and come closer to each other. But I keep hearing that. What are a few steps you think that all of us, so if it's, care at home, because you don't want them to go to the hospital, but if they are at the hospital and they have to go home, there is no possibility for home because everybody's working. So, what are one of the things that you say? And then we're talking on the level of looking into improving health care for elderly and a whole. What are one of those aspects that you go like, wow? that is one of the things I've been fighting for, and we have to really address that.
Well, seeing, listen, the problem, it's going from one thing escalating over to another, and then you have to find, like what we say, a middleware somewhere in between we have to find. So what we have invented was the Thursor, that where we go into the home and stay for a few hours. Like say you go in the morning 8 to 10, because again, financially you have to see who can pay it, because the Department of Social Affairs, they're not paying for everybody and paying everything. So no, Sandra Brown
It's a
just says it. So
throwback.
they're
Yeah.
not paying everything. And when you come, they said it's not standard that automatically someone with a little bit pension is going to get the extra help to move on. No, don't come expecting anything like that. And
Mhm.
one thing I can tell you, in this whole pandemic, this year that has passed, when they were saying they were giving funds for businesses that were affected by COVID. Now tell me, home of the elderly were very much affected by the COVID, because when Ouder and Zork put a stop that you cannot pick up any more patients, if someone dies, there's no way for you to put no one in, but you still have to pay your workers. You still have to feel the elderly that are there. And the government just said, no, you all department, the all elderly care, that's not in the like it. You live vulnerable need on to get no help for pay your staff or anything like that to help you with anything. And I
And
thought the elderly were important.
and this also brings me then also to the question I did last, because looking at the time we have our
Oh
next
You
my
know.
group,
goodness,
I know,
yes.
Alexandra, we could sit here and talk about every, continuously, but it also brings to that financial aspect of elderly care,
Yes.
but your, I don't want to say your own responsibility,
Put it taking,
but
putting it for your future,
for
for
your
the
future,
future of your
because
parents.
many people
Right.
have,
Yes.
we have I've heard many times, give up our way, why
Yes.
save your money, but we also, all
Not
of
that
us, I know,
Mayang.
have had that aunt, that mother, that
Yes.
grandmother who saved for, as they say,
Yes.
a rainy day.
Yes.
And they save so that rainy day that, my mom always said, I have to make sure that I take care of myself. It's
Yes.
not your
Right.
responsibility to take
Yes.
care of me. What advice would you give for those who maybe are young? Some people think, I'm 40
Pension
now,
plans.
and
Yes.
it's not of
Pension
interest to them,
plans.
but you see it. You
You
encounter
see
these
it,
people
pension
coming to you and say,
plans
well, I might not have the funds that are needed.
needed to help
So,
me. Yes, and you could take one or two social cases, put them in a home, but where that falls away, you just have to make up for it somewhere else.
Yes.
But it is to encourage family members, just even self, not even only pension plans, but plans for funerals.
Yes.
yeah.
You
Many
know,
elderly die and there's no way how to bury them. Everybody running about to see how to fix this. But no, this is something that had to be prepared and planned
yes,
for.
yes. I'm glad you brought that question to the table, Deborah, because from experience, I can say from if, because I'm in that situation right now. I have a mom, she's listening, she always listens to our program. Hi,
Yeah.
mom. And my aunt, and we have family neighbors who have the same problem. And I said,
Yes,
if then, back then,
we had
my
done.
parents didn't take care of this,
This.
and because my father said you always have to take it because you don't want to trouble your children, you don't want this, you don't want that. So it's not only about the care, the psychological care, the care in
Yes,
taking care of the person, but also the
yes.
person lives in a house, they have to pay
Pay the
their
bills.
taxes, they
Yes,
need to eat, you need to repair stuff. So it's very important. And some people go like, yeah, but my mother didn't have that opportunity. Then say, well,
You
there
have
is never too late for you to start
start.
somewhere
Yes,
or with the family to find those funds because
yes,
too often when I used to work a long donkey years ago at White Yellow Cross, I remember we would come home and actually they said, yeah, the key there, we're talking about the key there for the children, is also the keys there.
for
And
the
we
elderly.
would come there on Monday and then you can see nobody was there since Friday. So
Wow,
you can just imagine
imagine.
what that is like. For the person, they feel so
Yeah.
ashamed, they feel so bad.
Yes,
But this is the reality in
yes,
Aruba.
And that's why we're having this straight up conversation
yes.
about
People
education, about
start
aspects
talking.
that are of importance for our community. And,
Start
for some of you
thinking.
might have said, well, I don't know where to start with saving, I don't know where to start with this.
Start
Listen to some of those programs that we've even discussed. We've given financial
finance.
advice. You can get it on our YouTube channel. And for those of you, thinking, oh, University of Aruba, who, what, when, visit our website, www.ua.aw, and there you'll be able to see everything that we offer. But if you want to know more about lifelong learning and how you can further develop yourself, Then you go to the tab for the Center for Lifelong Learning, and on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube, you can look back at those interesting conversations we have been having since February, in which we hope to, enlighten our community and have
Yes.
them think and reflect on where they are.
And just before we say goodbye to Sandra, I'd also like to know the Faculty of Finance and Accounting every year, starting in August to December, they have a special program about elderly care. And then you'll think Faculty of Finance and Accounting, yes, they talk about pension plans, they talk about how to build a strong financial right, a financial security fund net, as you would say,
Yes.
but also they talk about different aspects involving care. So it is, I think they also do with working together with the Center
Yeah.
for Lifelong Learning. So anybody can be an audit student. You don't have to have a high school degree or anything. Anybody
Yes.
working in the care or having family in that situation, I would like to encourage you to go to our website, see if it's coming up this August. We don't have a confirmation as yet. And this also will help you educate
Get
yourself a
yourself.
bit more.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. So thank you,
Yes.
Sandra.
Thank you,
Thank you very
ladies.
much. And I know your kids are tuning in, from
All
wherever
Yes.
they
over,
are in the
wherever they are.
world. Wherever. Thank you for this interesting conversation, and thank you for giving us, for enlightening us more about elderly care and the struggles and what is
Yes.
needed within the community for us to move forward, all of us together.
Yes. And before we
Thank
say
you.
goodbye, Sandra, the mic is yours. What would you like to tell everyone over there?
I would like to say the person doesn't have to be your grandparent physically. You can have a neighbor, you can have a mother of a friend, a grandmother of a friend. Just visit them regular. Just even if it's twice a week. Visit them to have a conversation with them because sometimes they are so lonely. There's no one that comes around just to even that they can see that they can hold a conversation with them. It is very important for mental health of someone to have someone just drop in on them and speak to them and encourage them and so they can feel they are loved.
Very good
Oh,
word. And
thank
mental
you.
health is something we're busy with at Tricia, and
Yes.
we'll talk about that while I get our
Yes.
cat.
Yes,
Thank
Sandra,
you.
thank you so
Thank
much. And
you.
everybody who checked in and everyone on Facebook for giving us sending us listeners, thank you so much. Remember, this is straight up conversation about education right here on Massive Fine. And I'd also like to remind you, those of you who would like to study at the University of Aruba or Aruba registration started from May 15th, just go to our website www.upa.ew and you can register. You may wait and say, hey, let me wait a bit before, let me have my results. No, we would like to encourage you to go right away to our website. Our website is www.ua.aw, and you can see as you click on our website, you'll find that information because we offer different programs. And if you have a high school degree, API, or Colegio, HAVO, VVO, or CXC from abroad, look at the different programs we offer, and we're sure we can find something because it's about your future, and we're talking about now building stronger communities. Building stronger communities happen when we are educated. So, take on that challenge. Yes, this is straight up conversation about education. And as we wait to invite our other guests,
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon,
Dr.
everybody.
Brit Cruz, nice to
Goodbye,
see you.
Shirley.
Yes,
I
yes.
was just saying, I know your face from South.
Yes, when I used to work as a nurse indeed, I worked very close with Dr. Brit. It's nice
Yes,
to
yes.
see you. Welcome.
Our time together in Puchiquito.
Welcome to share a conversation about education. And I just tell listeners that it's a topic that people really don't like to address.
But that's before we go to that, we need to find ourselves both there. So for these conversations, we try and do it as nice and sweet and fast as possible as well, that you can still get to the depth of it. Can you tell us, Benita, a bit about yourself? So something that your friends and family would, say to describe you that many people, maybe your, clients, patients, if you'd like to call them, do not know.
Oh.
First question, yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm a GP, general physician. Actually, now I am retired. I retired in 2019. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, because our listeners are visual, and yes, then we can hear you a bit better. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Shall I start again?
Yes, please. Yes,
Okay.
do.
I'm a general physician. I've worked more than 30 years first in Curacao and then in Aruba, and I retired in 2019. So this year it will be like 2 years. But I cannot say that I'm feeling like a pensionado because I have a lot of things to do. I'm doing.
I think you're more active than ever.
And after, I'm curious for those of you listening in, because we want people to have an idea of your educational trajectory as well. What was your trajectory? Because it's not always that clear forward that people know immediately, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe that was the case for you, but can you share with us a bit about your education trajectory?
Okay, I did my basic education in Santa Cruz, Maria School. After that, I went to Colegio Urbano, and it was more or less, automatically, if you get good grades, that you go to Colegio and then you add it. And it was at that time sort of automatically also that you would then study abroad. I didn't know from childhood what I wanted to do. One thing I knew that I didn't want to become a teacher.
May I ask why?
Because I have 7 sisters and 5 of them are teachers. So it would have been logical if I would have become one, and I thought, no. I was very interested in languages. I still like languages and literature and so. But I also like science. So the combination of science and humanities, I ended up doing medicine, which is, yes. I thought it was more about science, but it turns out to be a lot about psychology and communication.
And I think people underestimate the power of psychology in our life, the mind. The mind is a powerful thing. And it's what you do with it. And in your bio, you described how during your 32 years of working as a family physician, you experienced a lack of knowledge and tools you had as a family physician and as physicians in general to attend patients and their families in the end of life care.
Yeah. 2 reasons. First of all, because I haven't got that part of education in my study, in my training, and also because at that time it wasn't such an important part. Later on, the specialty of family medicine became broader, and very important part of it is communication. So the GPs now who are being trained are getting a very good foundation of communication, unlike other specialties. And also palliative care has been developing since the 1960s, And I can say this century it has become more and more important.
Is it because of the statistics of really having more elderly in, in comparison with the younger? Because we have seen, like they say, the vergrijzing. We have seen older patients, people living longer, and also all the problems developing. Was it based on that of the statistics worldwide or something else?
I think it's something else. I think because after World War II, there was much emphasis on technology and what we can do and all the things
Mm-hmm.
that are possible. We didn't think we could ever do. And then when you're done with that, you have all the people that you've helped up to a certain point, and then they have to, yeah, you cannot help them anymore, and they are dying.
Yeah.
And then you yes, uh, you many times doctors used to say then, sorry, we cannot do anything for you anymore.
Yeah.
And I think, that's a sentence we have
Mm-hmm.
heard many times. People have lost, elderly, babies. We can't do anything and it's hurtful.
Mm-hmm.
And now in the news,
Yes.
a very known case where, baby was died. And sometimes it hurts.
Mhm.
But sometimes I think if there is proper guidance as well in talking about it openly,
Yes.
it also helps. Because one of the things, as you said, you go to your doctor and say, that man don't talk and have a picnics. And that I do see it's improving, but also talking about that last phase of life. I don't know if you experience it as well, Benita, is that or Cherise, that we talk more about it's not something we put away, but away like a content as well. And
Yeah.
that conversation about it is it takes place more often
Right.
than we could
I
imagine.
was sharing with you the book from Tarana Burke and Brene Brown, where they're saying from sometimes we don't emphasize and have these conversations of different things in life, of everyday things in life, like getting older, the struggles, what we're talking about today, or losing a child, or and because it's all taboo.
Mhm.
It's like, let us not don't talk about it. When the time reach, when the time reach.
Mhm.
No, the time will creep up on you, and that's why I'm happy that you're here because then I want to make a jump to the Fondation Hospice Attardi. It
Mhm.
was founded in 2004 on the passionship of your colleague, Peter Hermans. And then you were very interested because you were first a board member and
Mhm.
then you became the director.
Mhm.
So your passion for the elderly has grown.
It's start. It's not for the elderly, no.
No, no, no,
It,
but
it,
it's
it it's
far.
for
That is where I want to come now for
people
the
in the
explanation.
last phase of their life.
Hmm.
Can be elderly. Sometimes it's young people.
Yes.
But my interest during my work as a GP, it started, and also because I saw that I didn't have the skills and the tools and the knowledge to do what I know now that I could have done. But
Mm.
also, it wasn't that important, or many things we didn't have
Was
30
not in
years ago.
place. It was not in
It
place.
was not in
Yeah.
place yet, like the opioids patches
Yes.
and that kind of
Yeah.
things, the
Yeah.
pain management.
Yes.
It was the patient was sent home to the GP and told from, okay, GP, you take care of them.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the tools.
Right. Right. And I think that is sometimes overlooked when you
Mm.
doet niks, maar hij kan niks of zij kan niks because if you don't have the tools, the
Yeah,
equipment, what could you do? You can be there, have a listening ear, but if the person is in pain,
yeah. No, you have pain management, but also the care is very important. If someone can stay at home, you have to have like with Kruis and
or the private
support,
nurse, yeah.
private or by the government. Right now, the AZV is only covering cure and not care, and that
Right.
is one of
I
our
know.
pains. Yes.
Yes. I'm looking at the time, but then I still want you could can you explain a bit because we also have Maxine here, so the coordinator, and we want to go a little bit more in depth. But could you explain a bit what the Fundación Hospice Attardi is?
Okay, it was founded in 2014, but there was much work to do, before we could actually open the hospice. We opened it in November 2018, but our first guests came in January 2019. So this is the second year, no, the third year.
Wow.
So the first year we built up, and then the second year we thought we would go further, but then came COVID.
Yeah.
So that put a break on our growth.
Yeah, but I saw in between that you started to train your staff. You used the time to really educate your staff and prepare them.
Yes, that's one thing. Because from the start on, we told our staff and our volunteers that we would offer them education.
Wow.
Okay, we started once in a while, but right now we have like a monthly course that I
Nice.
teach, and I think when we're finished, that they're quite knowledgeable about palliative
Wow.
care.
Yeah.
Lifelong learning for those who
Lifelong
are
learning,
creating
yes.
developing
Yeah.
themselves. And that's how we met each other some years back on in looking to, lifelong learning for physicians on the island.
Yes,
That's
yes,
what
yes,
Benita
yes.
just
Wow.
reminded
And
me.
what we also do, we apply the teachers.
Yeah,
So
teach
our
the teachers,
nurses
yes.
are teaching the
The
volunteers,
family and
the
the
volunteers.
volunteers.
Yes.
Nice.
So now I'd
Wow.
like to talk to one of the, I guess, Matsi, which is our next
Mhm.
guest. Would you describe as a volunteer? Is she, but she's a coordinator, but it's someone you also taught in the process, or she had experience already in this area?
You mean
Matsi.
Matsi?
Yeah, Matsi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Before we bring our next
I can
speaker,
tell.
we're
I think
talking
she can
about
tell
her,
you.
but she
Yeah.
can know.
She can
She can tell
But
you.
Matsi, I would say,
Okay, first of all, Dr. Britus, thank you so much. And I think if someone would like to know more about, because it's a topic that people are scared of, oh, then I'm going to go there to die. Look, eventually we all do. And what the hospice authority is doing is actually making it livable and acceptable for the family and for those who are suffering. So if somebody would like to learn a little bit more about the hospice, I think we're going to have that conversation with Max and you'll talk about that.
yeah.
Okay, well then, first of all, then thank you so much, taking on this challenge
Okay, it's been a
and
pleasure.
being a director.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And
Matsi,
also, I think there's a slight change in thinking about that. Like it's something. The moment you're born, you have to die. So it's
we
part
forget
of life.
that. We
okay?
get caught up in all the
Yeah.
everything happening. So Matsi, join us.
Thank
Okay,
you. Thank
Bye
you
bye.
very
You can,
much.
and same time, I have to say, it's funny because reading Matsi's bio, she has wanted to become a school teacher.
Yeah. I sure wanted to.
But
Yeah.
did not
Never
end
made
up
it.
being a school teacher. You ended up total different direction.
Yeah.
So Matsi van Oors,
Yay.
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Can
well,
Hi.
we try to continue because we do want to talk about what it is that you
Yeah.
guys
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
just give our audience a brief
Yeah.
summary of who you are, your education
Okay.
trajectory, your
How
lifelong
you got
learning
to Aruba.
experience.
Okay.
And how she got to
To
Aruba,
Aruba,
yeah.
Yeah. They lured me in.
Yeah.
No, hi, I'm Matsi. I'm 57 years old. And as you already say, I wanted to be a teacher. I've always wanted to be a teacher. And then I didn't get in the draw. In those days, it wasn't about your scores. It was about drawing. And I got out 3 times. So I was very frustrated at home. And then my cousin said, you can't stay home. You need to educate yourself. Go on, take another profession, try nursing. And I was like, what? But I did, and I kind of liked it. And it was a very open school. So it wasn't like a nurse in a hospital. You could choose different areas of nursing. And that was really that I really liked. And I did that for a while in Holland. I already was a little bit known with taking care of people in the terminal phase of their lives. So it wasn't really new for me. But when I came here to Aruba, I saw an ad on the hospital with a little palm tree in front of it. And why don't you come to Aruba? And I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Let's travel. And I wanted to come for 1 year, and that's 22 years ago. So
So
I
you like
stayed.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my development took place in Aruba itself. So I mean, I was a diabetic educator.
Yeah,
Then I
that's
went
very
to
good.
doc. I know Sharice from doc. I did middle management and higher management, you say, because I became a team leader in the White Yellow Cross, and I really needed management course because I was not prepared for that. And then this job came by, and I couldn't resist. I had to take this challenge.
You
Yeah,
say,
then
you
yeah.
say.
So
Wow.
why you couldn't resist? Because not always you know what your passion is. What is
Hmm.
it that triggered you that you go like, no, I have to do this. This is where I feel passionate
I really thought about the years in Holland. I was a home care nurse, no, so the
about.
setting is different,
Yes.
but it's really the same work that you do. Uh, it's not even, I don't even see it as work. It's like an honor to be able to be a part of that emotional period of somebody's life, because it's still life. That's
Yeah.
really important, that people know that in the hospice, we all know that you're at the end stage of your life when you come to us. That's true. But the focus within the hospice is on the life that you still have. You're still there, you're still alive. You can still enjoy your grandchildren's visit. You can still enjoy our garden, maybe a little food, or maybe just a silence together with somebody, or praying, or those are the little things that we see that people still enjoy, no?
If I may, I like the way you said that you're honored to be
Yeah.
part. That's a completely different mindset. So
Mm.
those of you listening to this very conversation about education on Massive 103.5, a program sponsored by the University of Aruba, this is the mindset change we want you to think about.
Yeah.
Because having an honor is meaning that you are aware of your position, you are aware of what you're doing, you are aware of your thought process, and the care that you give is important and
Mindfulness.
valued. Yes.
But
Yes.
not only
Yeah.
that, I think it's also important. And as we said, many people don't like to talk about this topic in life. But it's also, as you said, it's not the end. The end is coming near, and for some, at
Yes.
least I think, if you see it coming, it also gives you perspective to reflect on your life
Mhm.
and share. I always say, I ask my mom to like share with me who you
Yes.
were.
Yes.
This is still your opportunity to enjoy that bit of life that you might have put off, of things you wanted to do. Sometimes you can, sometimes you don't, but to really look at that remainder of life. It's not the end as yet. And
Yes.
I like the way
Yes.
you said it. It gives a
Yes.
total different perspective on our
Correct.
life here on earth. If we really
Yes.
look at it
So,
that way.
so
And
yeah, thanks for
continue.
sharing that. And as you continue now, if I'm listening, I'm also hearing you want to make it livable, you want to make it enjoyable. How are you dealing with the family? Because family looks at it differently.
Well, from the start on, when we do an intake in the hospital, or at somebody's home, we what do you say, betrekken? We involve them right away. We ask if everybody is on board, if the person, and the person itself, of course, has to agree to come to us.
Yeah.
So that's the main goal. He or she has to agree, and then we say, okay, is everybody else on board? Are there any doubts? Are there any questions? Because if there is, you can always call us. We can have a look at the place. They come to the hospice to see it, and then they already see, well, wow, but this is not a sad, dark, strange place where where death is around.
Our Instagram video.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah, we're inviting everyone to go to the university Instagram. You can get a look at what it is, and I love the garden because I'm
Yeah.
such a garden person.
Yeah.
But you introduced everyone. You saw the kitchen, you saw the living area, the nice, comfortable sitting. So
Yeah.
it really is. Go to our Instagram, University of Aruba Instagram stories, and you can see that short video that Maxi made just before. But
Yeah.
back to you, but okay, you let them look at, but we don't talk about that here in
Yeah,
Aruba.
yeah,
How did
but
you
we,
get that
yeah,
conversation
yeah. It's
started?
not only, you're not only there for the guest, we say the guest, but also for the family. And for example, if there's a son who never told his mother what she meant for him, and he's afraid to tell her, we try and guide him in that. Like, she's still hearing you now. So, I mean, we try to support in that also, no? Because they have to go on. If the person they loved dies, then the son, the daughter, the sister, the brother, they have to go on
Mhm.
with their memories.
Right.
And we also create memories for them. We don't create them for them. They create them, but we
You
help them.
assist in,
Yes,
yes, you
yes,
create
yeah,
the environment where it's
yeah,
nice and safe, where they
exactly.
feel they can
Yes,
really,
yes,
communicate and have that moment
And
yeah.
you know,
for
it's listening to this. It brought up something for me as well. Having to have dealt with my own loss in the past. Of an early child is I reasoned with a Dutch nurse I had. You lie there, and she's like, take as many pictures as you want. And I always thought, oh, really? Is this the moment to take pictures? But it creates also those memories. And
Hmm.
in retrospect, after I was like, oh, I'm so happy that, as you said, you took pictures of a moment, and be it an hour, be it 24 hours, whenever
yes.
that life is still there.
Hmm.
I can still look back and cherish those moments. And those are things we
You
forget,
kind of
and we
forget,
think, oh,
yeah.
this is not the moment for it. It's the right
It's not,
moment.
Hmm.
and
It's memories you create, no
yes,
Yeah,
matter
and
yeah.
anything.
I hear you saying, Maxi, that so you're creating that opportunity to also guide the family.
Hmm.
So your volunteers and everybody working as well also, so they're not only attending to the person, the client, they're attending to the family. And if they have those wrong, because it is very difficult, I think, because one person is like, accept it, it is what it is, and other goes like, no, I want to cry, I want to do this. Give them the room, the
Hmm.
space.
Yeah.
How have you seen the change? Because you worked at the Whitechapel Cross, and I just mentioned when we
Yeah.
had a conversation with Sandra, I remember those days where, you come back on Monday and the person is the same you left them on Friday, and which is so embarrassing for them, or also no care. How have you seen the growth, and how have you seen the growth in our community towards elderly care and then going to the hospice?
Slowly but surely, we see that people are accepting the fact that maybe home care from the family is not the best care. It's not that it's not willing. It's more,
Mm-hmm.
it's very emotional because it's your
Mm-hmm.
mom, for example, in the bed, and you're not the daughter anymore. You're the nurse, you're the cook, you're everything,
Mm-hmm.
and there's stress from maybe other family members for to you to do your job good, no, to do it perfect, and it's very very heavy. People really underestimate the care for somebody at home, like a mantelzorger. People really underestimate that, and then in our case, this person is not going to go better. This person is only going to get maybe sicker and weaker, and it's going to be a burden that it's too much. And what we now see, what we can, I can speak for us, of course, what we see is slowly but surely that people understand that maybe this hospice is an option for us. And once they come in, they are already
Because
like,
I could imagine from the community that there are a lot of myths and ideas surrounding
mhm.
the hospice. What is really one that you say, man, dit is het niet?
Yeah. What would
Like
you like to
a
hear?
very sad place where death is all around. That's one. It's not that we don't cry or the family don't cry or there's anger, why me? Of course, that's all
Part of
in
the
the process.
process.
That's all logical. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not a sad place. It's a warm place. It's a very warm, safe place, as you say. It's very safe. Everything what happens there stays there. We have volunteers with very big hearts that come in their spare time and they come there for the guests. Only that is their goal. That's the only goal they have. They come for the guests. How can I help? What can I do? Oh, I can sit with the guest. Just be there. Yes, just be there. Okay, that's enough for them.
Yeah.
So that's very nice. And then the family understands, okay, I can do my thing because I know that
Well
she or
taken
he is
care
in
of.
good hands, no? And the other myth that I really want to address is the use of morphine. Some people think that if we
Mm-hmm.
start with morphine, that's the end, but that's not true. Morphine is a painkiller. It doesn't kill you, it kills your pain. And that's the goal. And that's very important for people to understand that if you hear morphine, that doesn't mean that that's the end.
Before, and even, I had some family over from the Netherlands, and with this whole COVID, and when, older people were dying, they were like, yeah, you just give them that and that's it. But it's the combination of everything. So it's very well that you address that. And I'm assuming that together with the doctor, you decide how that is done and with the
Of course,
family.
it's a plan, of course, and with the guest, no? That's the most
Yes.
important. So if the guest says, okay, I really need something for the pain, or we see like maybe it's time to start with something stronger than only paracetamol, which is a good painkiller, by the way. But if
But for
that
that
doesn't work
reason.
anymore, yeah, then maybe we should maybe, go a little further. And it's like steps, no? It's not
Right.
like you come in the hospice, then you start morphine and then you die. That's not the way
That
it
is,
works.
it's
It's not
good
the
to
way it
address
works.
it because
Yeah.
people pass and go like, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Yeah, yeah,
safety
yeah,
fast,
yeah,
safety
yeah.
fast, people. I'm
Hmm.
sure if they would want to have some more information, just to find out that to start the conversation, because sometimes people just need to start the conversation to get over that barrier.
Hmm.
Where can they reach you? What can you say, and what would you tell them?
Okay, our hospice is in North Kurakabai. It used to be the Hoisenloi
Rosenloy
High
House,
House, the
yes.
blue one, the big one. And if you need information or you just, wanna see the place, you wanna check it out maybe for your family member, then you can call 584 0085, and then we will attend you.
Could you please repeat it? Five, eight,
584
four,
0085.
85. Okay,
Yep.
and they can call, and once they call, they can make an appointment, and then they
Yes,
can come.
yes. They can
Okay.
ask information on the phone, or if they say, I would really like to see how it is inside, then they can have an appointment.
And I keep on saying always, it's a conversation about education and why is education so important? Because topics that you've touched base on, we can think about it, we can reflect. Like when you were talking about even the grieving process,
Yes.
we are not taught anything about grieving
Mm-hmm.
process. And Dr. Benita said it as well, there's a lot of information in our jobs. Our hard skills, as we call it,
Yes.
are developed. We're an accountant, we're good with numbers, we're
Technical, yes.
technical, but the soft skills, the
Or the
emotion
human
and the human
skills,
skills,
yeah.
that's where we put too little emphasis. And
Yes.
sometimes that's why the Center for Lifelong Learning, we try to address this because I always think, what's the sense of being a doctor and not having empathy and understanding and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and emotions and just being, just like you're a robot. So I'm happy you addressed that because I realize there's a need for us to
Yes.
continuously develop our soft skills in becoming better human beings, better aware of what it is that's going on within our body, our mind, and so forth.
Yes, and celebrate these moments together because grieving is a part, and it's okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay, and we tend to forget that, and like we're way over time, but
That's
the
food source.
conversation
All
is
in for
so
food.
interesting.
I don't-
But Nancy, before I let you talk, Nancy, just now after Deborah asked her question, we're going to ask you from what would you like to tell those families out there? Because I'm going through that process right now myself, and I know how difficult it is. You have to get your family meeting, you have to make sure everybody's informed, you have to make sure and get everything done, like you say, and it's not always feasible. I'm lucky that we have two
Yeah.
lovely persons taking care of my aunt at this moment, but
Mm.
it happens one day or the other, it just happened. It was no planning from, oh, when you're that old, that's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. I have an aunt, and I can say that she was healthy, 87, driving around her car, doing everything. And in a few months, boom, it went from phase A to phase Z. And then you get worried, and you're like, did I not see it coming? No, you don't see it coming. So,
Mm.
having said that, you can ask your question, and I'm going to ask you to address the mic with yours to everybody out there.
Oh, no. So my question, yeah,
Yes.
thank you for that. I was just thinking, Benita also explained that she has been training persons and teach the teacher, and they're volunteers. How can
Yes.
persons become
A
volunteers?
volunteer
What
for the guest.
for the guests? What are you looking for? Because someone might be listening and think, I'm retired, I have time, I either have a nursing background or I don't.
I'm
I
willing.
I'm
I'm
willing.
willing to be
Mhm.
here.
What is that possible? Just
Yes,
frame
yes,
the
yes,
question
yes.
up. Do
We
you
cannot
need
have enough of them,
volunteers?
of
Okay.
those lovely souls, because they're very, very necessary. Because without the volunteers, the hospice will
Mm,
not be able to exist. Because it's really like a volunteer organization, no? And
mm,
the only really thing that you need, what all our volunteers have, and I'm not saying that to but it's really true, is a big heart. Because we have people that are from the companies. They are only working with ciphers. They don't know anything about nursing. You
but
have
they have a
people
big
from
heart.
all kinds of
Walks of
professions,
life.
but they have a big heart, and they are willing.
Willing to
What you
learn.
also say, yeah, they are willing to open up, to share their empathy, to share all those feelings with our guests and their family. And that's what you need. That's what we ask. And the training, that's really something that we teach you on the job. Really, we have an introduction day, so then that's what Benita and I do. And then a volunteer also. So we try to give them a little light, shine a little light on our vision. What is a hospice? What tasks could you do as a volunteer? But really, if you come with a big heart, you're open-minded. That is really important, because everybody is welcome in our hospice.
Mhm.
So from all corners of life, people come in, and we want you to accept that. That is really important. So you're open-minded, you have a big heart, and you call that same number, and then you can get an introduction, and then you can join our team.
No, I think
Wow.
having said that, any last thing you'd
You
like
know,
to add
I would have.
before?
There's a lot of questions, other thing, but I want to thank you so much, and especially the tone that you set for today,
Yeah.
where we look at being honored. You said, you see, she's not using patient, she's not using client, she's using guest. You are a guest there to, to really thrive and
And
be
your
and
family.
enjoy. The
Mhm.
family are, everybody is included, so I like how the way you set that tone, and would like to thank both of you for being here, just to give us a taste,
Mhm.
just an idea of what happened behind those blue walls. I love the idea that you kept the color.
Yeah, yeah,
Everybody knows that
yeah.
Cassie goes say, no, you can't miss it. It's on the highway from St. Nicholas to town, or going back
Goodbye.
anywhere, Kulikabai.
Mhm.
And don't wait until the end. Have this conversation. That doesn't mean that your family will end up there. It's just that if you think it might be possible, have that conversation so you can get informed and be informed.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. This was
Thank
a
you.
very interesting
Interesting.
day. Yes,
Another
and
straight up conversation about education. And I was just thinking, looked at Sandra's CV, and we look at social work, our faculty, social work and development actually play such an important role as well
mhm,
in this. So for anyone thinking, I don't know what, it's not that I want to do medical, I'm not sure. I think that social work would be one of those faculties that can really
yes,
help you to understand this topic and further develop your career in this area as well, where
yes.
there's a bit of psychology, there's also management, van alles en nog wat, hè?
And
Mhm.
there's management, and
So,
there's knowledge about how we need to deal with people, because all those aspects are important. So, just surf over to our website, www.ua.aw. If you want to sign up for the upcoming academic
yeah.
year, you can do that online, any courses for CLL. So today, thank you, Deborah
Thank you, Sharice, and it's
Alexander.
nice to be back in the studio. People were saying,
Yes.
I could hear, I was wondering, are they in the studio, not in the studio? But we're happy to be back and to welcome our guests. And we look forward to another straight up conversation about education with you here on Massive 103.5 FM next week, Wednesday, 3 to 4. And don't forget, this program is sponsored by the University of Aruba. We enjoy working there, and we hope that we can welcome you, the upcoming academic year. And if you're not interested in being a student, there's always lifelong learning opportunities, because our guests, next to talking about specific topics, they are sharing with you their lifelong learning trajectory. And we hope that that inspired you
to be right, to become and enable growth within
Enable growth within
our
the community.
community.
Yeah.
Everybody, our Facebook viewers, bye
Till next
bye.
week.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye bye.